Welcome back, party goers. Bring a snack, bring a drink. Today we'll be reviewing the second level in Hrot, Luna. As we spawn into the level, the building ahead reads Curturni Doom, our House of Culture, in Czech. I don't believe the in-game building is modeled after any specific cultural center in real life, but the cultural centers were a common part of the community in the Eastern Bloc. They were intended to be used as spaces for political education and propaganda, but also serve as community hubs for events, clubs, celebrations, and they also served as cultural landmarks. In-game, we see a concert hall with chairs surrounding a main stage with some banners and a synth keyboard. In the storage room, we see a banner which reads, "The city of Kladno greets the famous Soviet army." Kladno is a city located in central Bohemia, just northwest of Prague in the Czech Republic. It was occupied by Nazi Germany during the Second World War. On May 5, 1945, a resistance group led by Edward Tomáš, who would later become the governor of the Kladno region, occupied important buildings such as industrial plants, the district office, and the municipal office in the city of Kladno. Tomáš was able to negotiate peace with the commander of the German garrison, Major Braun, who also wanted peace and to surrender to the Americans through the negotiation. The victory banner is in reference to the celebration of the Red Army's arrival on May 11th after the Kladno uprising has ended. Mezinárodní den, or International Women's Day in Czech, abbreviated to MDZ, is celebrated every March 8th. It began as a socialist and labor movement that became an official holiday in communist countries after Lenin declared March 8th as International Women's Day in 1922. It was later recognized as an international holiday by the UN in 1977. The holiday commemorates women's struggle for equality and liberation and brings awareness to women's issues. During the socialist era, it was a major state holiday and was used to platform the celebration of the ideal socialist woman, which reinforced the state ideology. As we enter into what looks like a security office, we see a typewriter on the desk. The typewriter bears resemblance to the console 2226 model with its elegant beige color and red tabular key. It was produced by Brevka Bruno, a factory in Brno, Czechoslovakia, the same factory behind the broader console line of typewriters since the 50s. The 2226 line was among the most advanced model on offer produced in the 70s. These were considered to be specialized portables rather than the mass market exports of other console machines. Only estimated few thousand were produced. Some of the features include a query keyboard layout, a basket shift system for smoother typing, black and red stencils for switching to multiple typing modes. Most models had a hard plastic carry case for ease of travel and storage. Lenin, Comrade Lenin, Eternal Lenin lived. Lenin lives, Lenin is to live forever. is a verse in the poem The Komsomol Song, written by Vladimir Mayakovsky soon after Lenin's death in 1924. The poem helped elevate Lenin from an important political figure to an eternal, almost sacred figure through the mythologizing. This is one of many works that help establish Lenin's cult of personality after his death. Vladimir Mayakovsky himself was personally devastated by Lenin's death. An anecdote from his sister says he took it like the loss of a dear friend or a close person, and struggled to express his grief in writing. Although there is no evidence to suggest the two men ever had a personal relationship with each other, Vladimir Mayakovsky did attend many of Lenin's speeches and was present at his funeral. Like many artists, writers, and activists of that era, he believed in the revolution and was inspired by Lenin's vision. First level secret is found by turning the knob on the left side of the desk. We then head back to the stage and find a hidden passage, which we can then obtain the wife beater, giving us 50 points of armor. The car we see outside of the cultural center bears a striking resemblance to the Skoda 100, given away with its clean, simple lines, round headlights, chrome rear bumper, and slightly soft silhouette. It was a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive compact sedan produced from 1969 to 1977, made by Skoda Auto. It was the first car made by Skoda Auto to exceed 1 million units produced, with 1,079,708 produced during its 8-year production run. It had a 988cc inline V4 engine, which could output anywhere between 74 to 62 horsepower, which is quite low by modern standards. The closest car today comparable to horsepower would be the Mitsubishi Mirage and Toyota Yaris. This car was surprisingly popular, considering an estimated half of its production were exported outside of Czechoslovakia. In Eastern Europe, this car was considered more modern and reliable than Soviet-produced and domestically produced cars, yet cheaper than Western cars. In Western Europe and developing nations, it was considered as a budget-friendly, reliable car that can be easily repaired. Basically, a Czech Toyota Corolla. This is another crack in the wall secret. You know the drill. You gotta use that barrel to blow a hole in the wall. We are then rewarded with 3 grenades. Heading down into the sewer, we see a panel outline on the left wall. Interacting with it will give us a tasty can of meat. Diving into the cistern, there's a graffiti which reads Vodnik. Vodnik is a male water spirit in Czech and Slovak folklore. He's often portrayed as a humanoid creature with green skin covered with algae, moss, and pondweeds all over his body. He also has frog-like features such as web feet or fingers. Vodnik is commonly found in shallow bodies of water, often drowning people and animals that crosses its path, which is darkly ironic considering where the graffiti is located in-game. Heading into the shopping district, we see a building with Luna written on its sides, hence the title of this level. This pays homage to the Luna shopping center in Liberec, which was originally built as a local neighborhood of Funny Doom, or small department store, which was built specifically for residential areas during the 70s and 80s. One online review of the store says it resembles a building from the communist era, unattractive outside and inside. Another says, today an empty, smelly, sometimes scary building. So a lot like the building in the level. Today it is home to a furniture store for low-income families, a beverage wholesaler, a laser game arena, so a combination of niche shops that still keeps this place alive. A quick side note, what is this ring looking sculpture? If anyone knows, please leave it down in the comments. Much appreciated. We see a cosmonaut and a sculpture which reads 30 years of Soviet space program. Although this isn't a one-to-one example of anything IRL, this is likely inspired by the sphere with the star decorative sculpture in front of the former House of Culture in Pilsen, when it opened in 1986, and now demolished since 2012. Also in the shopping center is a motorcycle which resembles the Jawa 350 with its iconic red paint, round headlight, and drop-shaped fuel tank. The Jawa 350 series began in the 1930s and is still being produced today. The most prominent model being the Jawa 350 LC Pirkrak, produced shortly after the Second World War. The bike had a 334cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled engine which could output around 30 horsepower with a top speed of 125 kilometers per hour. Furthermore, the engine could be electrically started. Like many other things produced in Czechoslovakia, these bikes are functional, rugged, and elegant in their simplicity. It has a can-be-repaired anywhere energy. These bikes prove popular not only in everyday use, but also in motorsports. India produced a Jawa licensed motorcycle between the 1960s and 1990s under the Yazeti brand. Today, India produces the Jawa 42, which resembles the classical models, and licensed under the Jawa Moto Company in the Czech Republic. Macho Ujanini means meats and smoked meats in Czech, which could be thought as the local deli or butcher shop during the socialist era. Often these shops would be operated by large state enterprises like Zerd, which is now privatized and eventually formed companies like Macho Ujanini Policzka. The shop's in-game matches the real-life store what the real-life storefront would have looked like during the 70s and 80s. We see tiled walls, often in shades of white, beige, or mint green, glass display cases, signage, a plain counter with a scale for weighing meat. I'm not familiar with the Czech language, so if I make any mistakes, please correct me down in the comments. Okay, so line 1 on the menu reads gotai, or a cheap bologna-like sausage for 32 kachis, which is Czechoslovakian krona. The next line reads Urechi, or chicken schnitzels for 20 kachis. The third line reads Hovozy zadni, or beef rounds for 42 kachis. The fourth line reads Yemleni parki, or mild sausages for 18 kachis. The next line reads Susak vizcheskos, or high quality ham for 90 kachis. Last but not least, we have vepspachinya, or roast pork for 50 kachis. Much like a Doom level, if you interact with the protruding wall panel, you'll be rewarded with some buckshot ammo. As we head into the courtyard, look to the buildings on the left-hand side. You'll need to do some parkour. Jump onto one of the merry-go-round arms and time your jump into the building. You'll be rewarded with a bottle of wine, each sip giving you 10 points of health, but also make you slightly inebriated. The last secret is by far the hardest one on this level. Once again, we will need to do some parkour off the merry-go-round arms. This time the jump is significantly longer. I did this first try. You'll be rewarded with a tasty can of poultry and 1 krona.